Marcus had always prided himself on his ability to pick up new skills. As a mid-career professional in a rapidly changing industry, he knew that keeping up was not an option, it was a necessity. Yet despite years of experience and hard work, Marcus found himself overwhelmed by the constant pressure to adapt. Every new software update, every emerging trend, and every innovative idea felt like an urgent call to learn something new. But there simply weren't enough hours in the day. One day, after spending yet another long night struggling to grasp a new data visualization tool, Marcus felt frustrated. He was exhausted by endless hours of trying to teach himself through dense manuals and scattered online tutorials. Then, as if by fate, a colleague mentioned a book that promised a radical approach, how to learn almost anything in 48 hours, the skills you need to work smarter, study faster, and remember more, by Tansel Ali. Intrigued by the promise of mastering a skill in just 2 days, Marcus dove into the book with a mix of skepticism and desperate hope. Little did he know, this book would challenge everything he thought he knew about learning, time, and his own potential. Tansel Ali offered a fresh perspective on skill acquisition, arguing that the key to rapid learning wasn't about cramming information, but about adopting smarter strategies and harnessing the natural power of focused practice. Over the next few weeks, Marcus embarked on a journey to transform his learning process. What started as an experiment to conquer a new tool soon became a profound transformation in the way he approached challenges. In the following pages, we'll explore the core lessons of how to learn almost anything in 48 hours through Marcus's experience, breaking down complex techniques into actionable insights and real-life examples. Chapter 1. Realizing the Learning Gap. Marcus's story begins with the stark realization that his current approach to learning was inefficient. Despite his best intentions, the hours he spent reading endless technical documentation and watching tutorial videos were not translating into the practical skills he needed. Every failed attempt to grasp a new concept added to his frustration, making him doubt whether rapid learning was even possible. Tansel Ali explains that we all suffer from what he calls the learning gap, the space between knowing that a skill is essential and actually mastering it. This gap is not due to a lack of intelligence. Rather, it's the result of outdated methods that rely on passive reading and fragmented practice. Ali argues that traditional learning methods waste valuable time and mental energy. For Marcus, this insight was both a wake-up call and a source of hope. He realized that the key wasn't to work harder, but to work smarter. If he could learn to bridge that gap efficiently, he could transform not only his career but his entire approach to personal growth. Learning isn't a race against others, it's a journey toward unlocking your own potential. Practical tips. Identify your learning gap. Reflect on your current methods and identify what isn't working. Are you absorbing information passively? Are you struggling to apply what you learn? Set clear, specific goals. Instead of a vague desire to learn Excel, set a goal like master pivot tables and data visualization in Excel. Adopt a growth mindset. Recognize that failure is a step in the process and that each mistake brings you closer to mastering the skill. Chapter 2. The 48-Hour Learning Challenge. A New Paradigm. The core promise of the book is as bold as it sounds. You can learn almost anything in 48 hours if you adopt the right strategies. For Marcus, this was a radical departure from his previous approach to self-education. Instead of viewing 48 hours as a mere sprint, Ali urged readers to see it as a focused, intensive learning challenge that, if approached correctly, could yield remarkable results. Marcus decided to put this theory to the test. He selected a challenging, new skill, a cutting-edge project, management software that promised to revolutionize how his team collaborated. Instead of letting weeks of procrastination and fragmented study delay his progress, he dedicated 48 consecutive hours to mastering the tool. During this period, Marcus immersed himself completely. He turned off all non-essential distractions, locked himself in his home office, and approached learning as if it were a high-stakes mission. Tansel Ali emphasizes that the 48-hour challenge isn't about rote memorization but about deep, focused immersion. It's about condensing the learning process into an intense period where every minute counts. In the next 48 hours, you're not just studying, you're living the skill. Marcus began by mapping out a detailed plan. Hour 1 to 2, skim, the manual to understand the overall structure of the software. Hour 3 to 6, watch introductory tutorials and take notes. Hour 7 to 12, engage in hands-on practice, following along with guided exercises. Hour 13 to 24, Dive deeper into advanced features and solve real-world problems using the tool. Hour 25:36. Experiment with custom projects. Integrating all learned skills. Hour 37:48. Review, consolidate knowledge, and simulate scenarios that mimic work challenges. Practical tips. Create a learning blueprint. Before starting, write down what you want to achieve in 48 hours. Break it into hourly segments. Minimize distractions. Inform those around you of your intense study period and switch off non-essential notifications. Document as you go. Keep a learning journal to record insights, breakthroughs, and areas that need more work. Chapter 3, Learning Faster. Strategies to Accelerate Mastery. One of the most intriguing parts of Ali's methodology is the array of techniques designed to accelerate learning. Marcus learned that the secret to rapid skill acquisition isn't merely spending more time, it's about using that time effectively by leveraging proven learning strategies. Active learning and practice. Ali stresses the importance of active learning over passive consumption. Instead of simply reading the manual or watching videos, Marcus engaged in hands-on practice. He repeatedly performed tasks within the software, experimenting with different features and learning by doing. This active approach reinforced his memory and allowed him to apply theoretical knowledge practically. For example, rather than memorizing the functions of various tools within the software, Marcus would immediately use them to create a mock project. By iterating on his project, he was able to identify mistakes, correct them, and reinforce the proper methods. This cycle of action, feedback, and adjustment became the cornerstone of his rapid learning. Spaced repetition. Another key strategy was spaced repetition. Instead of cramming all information at once, Marcus learned that revisiting the material at increasing intervals helps solidify his understanding and long-term retention. Ali recommends scheduling quick review sessions throughout the 48 hours and in the days following the challenge. For instance, after initially learning a new feature, Marcus would take a 10-minute break and then quickly review what he had just practiced. Later, he'd review the same material at the end of his session and again the next morning. This method not only boosted his retention, but also allowed him to integrate knowledge more seamlessly. Interleaving and chunking. Ali also introduces the concepts of interleaving and chunking. Interleaving involves mixing different but related topics during a study session to create connections between them, while chunking is about breaking down complex information into manageable units. Marcus applied these techniques by alternating between different modules of the software, rather than spending hours on a single feature. He discovered that switching between topics kept his mind alert and helped him see the bigger picture. By chunking complex tasks into smaller, digestible parts, he avoided feeling overwhelmed and maintained steady progress. The faster you can break down and integrate new information, the quicker you can master a new skill. Practical tips. Engage actively. Practice by doing. Apply what you learn immediately. Schedule short reviews. Use spaced repetition to reinforce your learning at regular intervals. Mix it up. Alternate between different topics or features to keep your mind fresh. Break down complex concepts. Divide intricate topics into smaller chunks for easier absorption. Chapter 4. Working Smarter. The Environment for Success. Marcus soon discovered that mastering a new skill in 48 hours was as much about creating the right environment as it was about learning techniques. Ali emphasizes that a focused, distraction-free environment is critical for rapid learning. Designing a dedicated learning space, Marcus transformed his study area into a haven for concentration. He cleared out clutter, ensured his workspace was ergonomically set up, and made sure all the necessary tools were within easy reach. This dedicated space signified that this period was solely for learning, not for routine tasks or interruptions. For instance, he set up a large whiteboard to jot down key points and a digital timer to manage his study sessions. Every element in his environment was optimized to minimize distractions and maximize focus. Managing digital distractions. In today's world, digital interruptions are inevitable. Marcus took proactive measures by turning off non-essential notifications and using apps designed to block distracting websites during his learning sessions. Ali suggests that by controlling the digital environment, you can preserve the brain's capacity for focused, deep work. Marcus also established a schedule that allowed him to take brief, structured breaks. Instead of falling into endless scrolling or unscheduled snacking, he used these breaks to stretch, hydrate, or briefly step outside, activities that refreshed his mind without derailing his focus. Practical tips. Create a distraction-free zone. Dedicate a specific space, solely for learning and set up your environment for success. Control your digital environment. Use website blockers and silence notifications during your study sessions. Plan structured breaks. Incorporate short breaks into your schedule to recharge without losing momentum. Chapter 5. Study faster. Optimizing your cognitive load. One of the most daunting challenges Marcus faced was the sheer volume of new information. Ali's book taught him that working smarter means managing your cognitive load, ensuring that your brain isn't overwhelmed by too much information at once. Prioritizing key concepts.
Instead of trying to learn everything about the new software,
Marcus focused on the core concepts and functionalities that would have the most immediate impact on his work. Ali advises learners to identify the vital few topics that will give the greatest return on investment and prioritize those above less critical details. Marcus made a list of the most important features he needed to master, and he concentrated his efforts on those first. He understood that once he had a solid foundation, learning the finer details would be easier. Reducing cognitive overload. Ali explains that too much information can lead to cognitive overload, where your brain struggles to process and retain data effectively. Marcus learned to take breaks when he felt overwhelmed, allowing his mind to process and consolidate new information. This approach not only improved his retention, but also made his learning sessions more effective. Your brain needs space to absorb new information. Overloading it is like trying to pour water into a cup that's already full. Practical tips. Focus on the vital few. Identify and concentrate on the most critical information first. Take regular breaks. Allow your brain time to process and consolidate what you've learned. Chunk information. Break down complex topics into smaller, manageable units to prevent overload. Chapter 6. Remember more. Boosting your memory. A significant portion of rapid learning is about retaining information. Ali provides strategies to enhance memory retention, ensuring that what you learn in those 48 hours sticks with you long after the challenge is over. Memory techniques. Marcus was introduced to several memory techniques, including mnemonics, the method of loci, and spaced repetition. These techniques are designed to help you encode and recall information more efficiently. For instance, when learning the intricate features of the new software, Marcus created mnemonic devices to remember key functions. He also used the method of loci by associating different features with specific locations in his home. This spatial memory technique made it easier for him to recall complex information during practical application. Spaced repetition. Spaced repetition was another critical tool. Marcus set up review sessions at intervals throughout the 48 hours and in the days following. This method helped move the information from short-term to long-term memory, reinforcing his newly acquired knowledge. A well-organized mind remembers by revisiting key concepts at the right intervals, allowing them to settle into long-term memory. Practical tips. Create mnemonics. Develop simple mnemonic devices to remember key information. Use the method of loci, visualize information in specific locations to enhance recall. Schedule review sessions. Employ spaced repetition by reviewing material at set intervals. Chapter 7. Applying what you learn, from theory to practice. Learning a new skill isn't just about absorbing information. It's about applying it effectively in real-world scenarios. Marcus realized that true mastery was achieved only when he could translate what he learned into practical results. Hands-on practice. One of the most transformative aspects of the 48-hour challenge was the emphasis on active, hands-on practice. Instead of passively consuming content, Marcus immediately applied new concepts through guided exercises and real-world projects. By actively engaging with the material, he reinforced his learning and built confidence in his abilities. For example, after studying a new function in the software, Marcus would immediately use it to solve a specific problem. This iterative process of learning and doing allowed him to internalize the concepts quickly. Feedback and adjustment. Marcus also learned the importance of seeking feedback. He asked colleagues to review his work and provided feedback to himself through regular self-assessments. This feedback loop enabled him to identify mistakes and adjust his methods on the fly, ensuring continuous improvement. Application is the bridge between knowledge and mastery. Without practice, learning remains incomplete. Practical tips. Engage in active practice. Immediately apply what you learn to real projects. Seek feedback. Use peers, mentors, or self-assessment to refine your skills. Iterate quickly. Embrace a cycle of learning, practicing, receiving feedback, and adjusting. Chapter 8. Creating a learning mindset, persistence, and adaptability. The 48-hour challenge isn't just a sprint, it's a paradigm shift in how you approach learning. Marcus learned that to truly benefit from rapid learning, you must cultivate a mindset that is persistent, adaptable, and open to change, overcoming self-doubt. At times, Marcus found himself doubting his ability to master the new skill so quickly. There were moments when the volume of new information felt overwhelming. However, Tansel Ali's message was clear. Every hour is a chance to start fresh, to learn and improve. Marcus began to embrace setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than evidence of failure. For example, after a session where he struggled to understand a complex function, he took a short break, revisited the material, and even reached out to an online forum for clarification. Each challenge was met with persistence rather than defeat, flexibility and adaptation. Learning rapidly also requires a willingness to adapt your strategies as needed. Marcus experimented with different study methods, switching from watching tutorials to reading guides, from solo practice to group discussions, until he found the techniques that worked best for him. This flexibility was crucial for overcoming obstacles and maintaining momentum. A learning mindset is not fixed. It evolves with every new challenge, every small win, and every failure that teaches you something valuable. Practical tips. Embrace challenges, view setbacks as learning opportunities rather than reasons to quit. Experiment with methods. Try different learning techniques to discover what works best for you. Maintain a growth mindset. Remind yourself that every small improvement builds toward mastery. Chapter 9. The Power of Environment, Setting Up for Success. Marcus soon discovered that your environment plays a pivotal role in how effectively you can learn. A cluttered space, constant interruptions, or a disorganized schedule can all hinder your ability to absorb new information. Tansel Ali stresses that creating a conducive learning environment is essential for rapid skill acquisition. Designing a dedicated study area, Marcus transformed his home office into a dedicated learning zone. He cleared out distractions, turning off unnecessary notifications, organizing his desk, and ensuring a comfortable seating arrangement. This simple act of creating a designated space helped him signal to his brain that it was time to focus. Time management and routine. Beyond the physical space, Marcus restructured his daily routine to prioritize learning. He set specific time blocks for focused study sessions and ensured that these sessions were free from interruptions. By following his hourly blueprint religiously, he maximized his productivity and minimized wasted time. Practical tips. Create a dedicated workspace. Ensure your study area is free of clutter and distractions. Establish a routine. Set fixed times for learning, and stick to them as consistently as possible. Use tools. Employ timers, calendars, and apps that help you maintain focus. Chapter 10. The Impact of Mindset, Confidence, and Curiosity. One of the most profound changes Marcus experienced was a shift in his mindset. Tansel Ali argues that the way you think about learning is just as important as the techniques you use. Marcus began to see learning not as a chore, but as an exciting opportunity to grow and evolve, building confidence through achievement. Each small win, from mastering a basic function to successfully applying a complex feature, boosted Marcus's confidence. He kept a record of his achievements in a learning journal, which served as a reminder that progress, even if incremental, was being made. Cultivating curiosity. Marcus also rekindled his natural curiosity. He no longer saw the 48-hour challenge as a daunting race, but as a journey of discovery. His curiosity led him to ask deeper questions, seek out additional resources, and connect with online communities of learners. This new mindset transformed his experience from one of stress and anxiety into one of excitement and possibility. When you approach learning with curiosity and confidence, every challenge becomes a doorway to new opportunities. Practical tips. Keep a learning journal. Document your successes and reflect on your progress to build confidence. Ask questions. Cultivate a habit of inquiry. Seek to understand the why behind what you're learning. Engage with a community. Join online forums or study groups to share knowledge and gain new insights. Chapter 11. The Transformation. Turning hours into mastery. After 48 intense hours of focused learning, Marcus began to see the fruits of his labor. The once daunting software was now a tool he could wield with confidence and creativity. More than that, he had internalized a new approach to learning, a system that allowed him to break down complex skills into manageable, achievable tasks. Marcus's transformation was evident not just in his technical skills, but in his overall approach to work and life. He had learned that every hour is an opportunity, even small. Incremental progress can lead to mastery over time. Focused effort compounds. The consistent, dedicated practice over a short period can have long-lasting effects. Adaptability is key. The ability to adjust strategies based on feedback and experience is crucial for continued growth. For instance, Marcus used his newly acquired skills to spearhead a project at work that streamlined data visualization for his team. What had once seemed like an insurmountable challenge was now tackled with ease, and his success led to a promotion. More importantly, the methods he had learned allowed him to continue growing, turning each subsequent hour into another step toward mastery. In the end, mastery is built 1 hour at a time. Every focus moment is a brick in the foundation of your future. Practical tips. Integrate what you've learned. Apply your new skills to real-world projects as soon as possible to reinforce your learning. Keep evolving. Set new 48-hour challenges periodically to continuously expand your skill set. Reflect on your journey regularly. Review your progress and adjust your learning strategies based on what you've accomplished. Marcus's journey through how to learn almost anything in 48 hours is a testament to the power of focused, intentional learning. What began as a desperate attempt to master a new skill in a short period evolved into a profound transformation, a new way of approaching challenges, a renewed belief in his potential, and a roadmap for continuous growth. Tansel Ali's insights have shown Marcus that rapid learning is not about shortcuts or magic formulas. It's about aligning your focus, optimizing your environment, and committing to a process of constant improvement. By breaking down complex skills into manageable chunks, actively engaging with the material, and using practical techniques like spaced repetition, visualization, and mindful practice, Marcus unlocked a new level of productivity and creativity. Today, Marcus no longer sees learning as a daunting, overwhelming task. Instead, he views every hour as an opportunity, a chance to move closer to his goals and to transform his life. His journey is a powerful reminder that the key to success is not the amount of time you have, but how you choose to use it. The future is built 1 hour at a time. Each focused moment is a brick in the foundation of your dreams.